Pankaj Gupta, a typical Indian graduate lost in the melee of information overload, choices, options, and his own limitations, scrolls through the advertisements and scores of other advisors, all clamoring to attract his attention.
Education to me does not mean acquiring a degree from a high-flying institute, paying the most expensive tuition fee, and then not knowing what to do. Education is a lifelong learning experience which you can do from any country, any state, anywhere you are.
Pankaj has decided to go overseas for education, but who to go to for the right advice is the big question. He gets a reference about Siec from one of his friends who is successfully studying overseas, and incidentally he also notices an advertisement about the Siec Australian Education Exhibition.
The organization is built over 12 cities all over India. It has a national network of offices where the counselors are dedicated, they are empathetic, and they actually take the needs of a student into consideration before they send them overseas.
Pankaj calls the Siec office and registers himself for the event. From there on, his journey is a simple matter of following procedures and the expert guidelines laid out by the professional counselors at Siec.
I think Siec counselors and Siec staff in general are a very professional set of people who are also looking after the individual needs of students and also are at the same time able to identify what the student should be going in for and not what the student thinks is a popular program. That's a very important thing these days.
He is advised about various options available to him based on his academic qualifications, finances, and his future aspirations. He is advised to attend the education fair organized by Siec, where he can have a direct interaction with the visiting representatives of institutions.
Hello, my name is Geraldine Bevis. I represent the Perth Institute of Business and Technology, which is otherwise known as PIBT. We work in association with Edith Cowan University. PIBT is part of the IBT Education Group, which is well known throughout Australia and in the UK and Canada. We've been working with Siec here in India for the last 2 to 3 years.
At the roadshow, Pankaj is pleasantly surprised by the detailed information he is able to gather and in some cases speak to the relevant faculties, which makes his decision easier and gives him a clearer picture about one of the major decisions of his life. Now Pankaj is elated at the simplicity and the transparent professionalism of the entire procedure. He is now advised to contact his assigned counselor at the Siec office to get advice on the visa documentation and the next step.
Stepping into a student's shoes to help him realize his aspirations and handhold them during their transition period. We facilitate the first step into the global arena of education so that the landing is smooth and thrilling.
He is given detailed information about documentation, financial requirements, and is given 2 weeks' time to submit all the relevant papers, and the counsellor encourages him to keep in touch with her over phone for any further queries.
I think Sonia and her team have taken Australian education to the next level, and that's where we as institutions are able to benefit of the great profiling and the great marketing that goes through. And I think that's where we all sit together and see the success coming through for Australian education.
Pankaj furnishes the documents within the given time, and the file goes through various checks and verifications to the counsellor and then the dedicated team at Siec who now take over. 6 weeks later, Pankaj gets an excited call from his counsellor congratulating him that his visa has come through. He is handed over the passport among delighted smiles and congratulations, and Pankaj is advised to attend an Siec pre-departure seminar on a set date, which will prepare him for his journey ahead of him. This is an opportunity for him to network with other students who are going with him and have an information session about travel, living, studying, and working in Australia, which is attended and supported by AEI, an Australian government body.
27,500 students enrolled in Australia in 2005 from India, and the latest numbers around 26,000 for the first half of this year. So that's an enormous growth, and it's showing, I think, the vitality of the relationship between India and Australia.
His journey with SIEC that started 6 months ago is still not over, because he knows that they have a support office in Australia too that will be ready to assist him and help him if any need arises.
SIEC is different from other organizations because within SIEC, for us, a student is not just an entity who is a business for us. We treat every student as an individual human being who will require our support even when he's overseas.
He is thankful to SIEC for being so thoughtful and not treating him only as a business client. He knows that he can count on the SIEC placement services through their sister concern, Sunsai Placements, after he graduates.
We run short-term career management programs for students who've already graduated. These programs are designed by SIEC and they are delivered by SIEC through their sister concern, which is Sunsai Management Institute. These programs help students develop their soft skills, which helps them in their personal and professional growth and helps to place them with companies which they aspire to work in.
We offer a career management program at SIEC Melbourne that leads students to a career goal at the end of their studies in Australia. It gives students great opportunities to enrich themselves with knowledge in the employment market. The program also helps students to fit better into the culture and raise their individual professionalism to meet employers' expectations.
Pankaj cannot thank his friend and SIEC enough for being there for him throughout his journey.
I've had a long association with SIEC. I've always been very impressed at the professionalism of SIEC. It's always a pleasure.
They're very customer focused, very customer centric and professional in their approach. As institutions, I think we are very, very lucky to have people like SIEC team work through and with us to keep Australian education to the highest level.
SIEC has worked as our principal representative in India. Honestly, I've found them to be very helpful, very professional, and I have a lot of trust and a lot of respect for the SIEC.
In all, I'd say an able set of counsellors, a warm personality and great people to work with.
We've been very happy with our association with SIEC over the years as they continue to expand their network and look at growth opportunities in Western Australia and Perth as a very good destination for students to pursue their higher education.